You're watching 7 River Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week we bring an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Well, today you're going to be inspired. You're going to enjoy the show because the spotlight is on one of the best Division III cross-country programs in the United States, and that's UWL. Head coach on the men's and the women's side, Derek Stanley, along with Josh Weisse and Jonah Weisse, excuse me, and Hannah Beilke. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Coach, let's start with you. You've been on the show many times, and we talked about kind of your pilgrimage to lacrosse, but let's go back and talk a little bit about maybe who inspired you to get into coaching and teaching.
That's easy. My high school coach, for sure. When I was in those formidable years in high school, very important years when people are developing as runners and just as normal citizens. He was there when there wasn't a lot of other positive influences that were in my life, and he really kept me grounded, focused, and so that coupled with the group of friends that I ran with definitely made the difference in my life and put me on the path to where I am today. So,
5th season as the coach at UWL. Let's take a journey back to when you were hired and talk about the progress so far.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about this in the car on the way over. There was a lot of pressure that first year, because it was just, everything was new. Nobody knew who this guy was. And when we ended up doing well that year and winning the conference meet and taking a trophy home from nationals on the men's side, we got second in the conference meet for the women that year, and then ended up making it to the national meet, which was a huge accomplishment that year. It was just a really good way of setting it off, and then we've kind of just we've won some more trophies. The women have gotten better every single year. This is probably going to be the strongest year by far that we've had. Very excited about everything. So the journey has been one of just excitement and building almost to the. I hate to use the word crescendo, but I mean, it feels like it's coming. That crescendo is coming.
Well, I'm sure people were initially we're going to hire this guy, but how is he going to replicate what was done with Pat Healy and Don Frisch and Phil Essen? But you've set your bar very, very high, and you've accomplished a great deal. And you've recruited some great athletes, including Jonah Weisse from Madison. As I looked at your bio, too, in high school, all conference, your academic standout, all state in both track and cross country, 2-sport athlete, captain, academic all state, member of the National Honor Society. I mean, you accomplished a great deal. Let's talk about some defining moments maybe in your high school career.
I think the most defining moment was the state championships my junior year. Coming into it, I was hoping to be maybe top 30, top 25, and I ended up being 13th at that meet. So that was a lot of fun. I think it opened up a lot of doors for college. I knew I wanted to run in college, but after that performance, I knew that I could be successful in college. So that was probably the biggest moment in high school that I can think of.
And of course, Hannah Beilke from Stevens Point, who we were talking before we went on the air, a good friend of mine played for me, worked for me. Craig Terpstra, we got to get him on the show once when he comes back here, maybe over the holidays. It was one of your teachers, so we have a little bit of common friendships there along the way. But listen to this resume now. In high school, 4 letters: track and field, cross country, and hockey.
Yeah.
Most valuable player 3 times in each sport. I mean, come on. And state in track and field and cross country. Academic 4 times, track and field 3 times, all conference in both track and field and in cross country. Academic all state, honor societies. You got to be kidding me. So you play all these sports. Academically, you're at the top of your class, and you have a balanced life. Was that hard?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge in high school, but I know that that's really what's prepared me for college as well, just because college, school and practice, it's kind of an even more like extensive amount of time that you're putting towards all those things. So I know that without those experiences, I definitely wouldn't be as successful of a college athlete as I am now.
Now, I'm sure you had multiple defining moments throughout your 4 years of excellence. Just give us a couple of those.
One of the biggest moments, I think, in my sports career for high school was the state meet my senior year. And I'm always more of a cross country than track girl. I like the distance a little bit more and just like being out on the course and everything. And so finishing up that meet, we ended up being runners up at state. So that was a huge highlight of our season. We were going for first and we were just a couple points shy, but still I was like so proud of our team and just like our accomplishments. We all like came together at that time. So that was pretty awesome.
Now, by the way, did you happen to be homecoming queen and prom queen too? Because you were everything else.
I was on homecoming court, but I wasn't queen.
Close.
So yeah.
Well, certainly you evaluate a college coach in many, many ways. But Derek, you evaluate him. One of the chief components is recruiting quality athletes, student athletes. And since you have come on board now, you have recruited people that are outstanding. Take us through the process of recruitment.
Well, UWL in and of itself is a high quality institution, so it's not too difficult to find those recruits that are good students that can carry the academic side of sports. The difficult part is getting the best runners to look at UW lacrosse instead of a Division I or scholarship money at Division II or something like that. So the journey of recruiting is identifying the prospective students that you want to talk to that can fit at your institution academically, and then try to get them to see what you have to offer them. You know, I think at UWL we have a lot to offer from the academic side, but from the cross-country side we have cutting-edge science that's, kind of developing our training for us, that becomes very individualized. And I think that's something that there's not many Division I or Division II schools that are doing anywhere in the country, but we're doing it here at UWL. And I think that's a huge highlight. So trying to find those people that want that right fit academically, athletically, and they want that individualized kind of approach to training where they're willing to buy into that program. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, more of a Division I approach in terms of a holistic effort to make sure your athletes are taken care of in the training room and with training routines and so on. But speaking of academics, Coach talked about that being a strong component. Of course, we know the expectations of UWL student athletes, but you're an impressive academic young man, Jonah.
Thank you.
Because on the dean's list, and you're going to graduate and have an outstanding career. But let's put your academic hat on. Talk about that, your major, and where we're going to see you in 5 or 10 years.
Sure. So actually, I'm a software engineering major. I'm technically in graduate school now. So it's kind of a dual degree program. You get your undergrad in computer science and your master's in software engineering. So right now I'm in the middle of that program. It's going well. It's a good transition, I would say. It's nice to get in, 6 years of school kind of squeezed into 5 years. In terms of career goals, I guess I've really enjoyed working with computers and programming. So somewhere along the line, hope to become a software engineer at some company.
So you're both strong academically, and Hannah, looking at some of the things you're involved in too, not only leadership groups, but academically. I mean, you put that first with your studies, biology, and so on. Take us through that. I mean, your major and tough classes and where you are going to be in a few years.
Well, I aspire to be a physician assistant, and so that's like my long-term goal. But right now, I'm a sophomore, and so I'm just starting to get into the very specialized classes and the upper-level science classes. So I've kind of got most of the gen ed science classes checked off and like done, but now we're starting to move into the harder, more specialized things.
But you're both in a difficult major, and it requires more time perhaps in studies in your majors than maybe in some other ones, not to minimize the importance of other ones, but is it hard for you to balance all that? Because we're going to get into this, but you're a track and field athlete too.
I think there too, it's just kind of something that I've done since high school, and it's really just like using your time wisely. I think that sometimes I almost do better when I have like a limited amount of time and I'm like stay really focused on things and I kind of check things off the list like as they go. I mean, you have to manage your time smartly, but it's not that bad.
Jonah, and that's you too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
exactly what Hannah
disciplined
said.
in time management.
Yes, certainly.
How do you do that?
I mean, I guess just when things start to back up, taking the time every second that you have to study or be successful athletically, either way. I mean, you just have to be disciplined and focused with your time management, like Hannah was saying.
So you don't waste time, do you? Throughout your day?
I try not to.
You're militaristic in setting up your schedule for the day.
I try not to, yeah.
Good, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break and sell some ads to sponsor the show. We'll be right back after this.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
Well, I was very nearsighted. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me without things being blurry, so I had to wear glasses.
We screen patients. We try to make sure that they're appropriate candidates for LASIK, that their prescription is within the range, that it's reasonable to do it, that they have a good understanding of what they can expect, that they have a good understanding of what the benefits are and what the risks are.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, the spotlight on UWL men and women cross country. Head Coach Derek Stanley, Jonah Weisse, and Hannah Beilke, my guest today. Coach, you as we tape this show here, you have just finished the WIAC championships. Men second, women first. Won numerous championships, both on the men's and women's side over the years. Most recently in 2012 and 13 with the men, but both of them at the top of the conference every single year. Reflect back on that meet and talk about your feelings.
Man, it was kind of like two-sided, you know. The women towed the line first, and you know, we went out and did what we set out to do. We went out to dominate the competition. We did that. We ran to our abilities, not down to the other team's abilities, and that made that experience great. I mean, they absolutely crushed it. It was awesome. Going to the men's side, to be very proud of our effort, but have it built up in your mind to work out a different way. You know, we went into that race to win. I had it built up in my mind. We were going to walk away from that meet with a victory. And we came up 9 points short on not our best effort. I think we're a better team than what we put out there. But it was hard to grasp, you know, the feelings of that after the race was over. Very proud of the runners. Every single one of them. They went out and gave it 100%, put their heart into it. But just to come up, to put that much effort in and then come up just a hair short, that's a tough one to bite.
A couple of follow-up questions for Jonah, you're a team captain, All-American runner, which, by the way, I mean, I like to have All-American runners on the show. That's pretty special. Talk about what you've accomplished so far and what your thoughts were on second place in the WIAC.
Sure. This is my 3rd year running, so I have another year to go here. But I was All-American my freshman year, which I was so proud of that achievement. It was great. But I think more so individually are the team successes. And last Saturday I had a pretty good performance individually, but the bigger thing was that when the chips fell, Eau Claire came out on top. And that was kind of tough to swallow. Like Stanley was saying, you know, we were hoping to end up on top, but I think we had a good race, and I think all the guys, myself included, are excited for the next 3 weeks. In 2.5 weeks is the national championships in Louisville, so looking forward to that. Certainly.
Let's fast forward to that. First, sure. It's the regionals in Winneconne,
yep.
Then in Louisville. But where do you see yourself? Where do you see the team on those two postseason races?
So the regional championships, the main focus is just to qualify for the national championships. Obviously, we'd love to walk away with the regional title. We'll be facing a lot of tough teams, Eau Claire again. But then fast forwarding a week later to national championships, assuming we qualify, we're setting our hopes on a team title. You know, it's going to be tough. We got to run a little better than we did at conference. But I don't know. I'm very confident in our group of guys. You know, a lot of my teammates, we've been working hard this whole year, these past 4 years. So I think we got a lot of talent and a lot of heart, and hoping to walk away with a team title.
So the potential is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, Hannah, part of the WIAC championship team, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've participated in nationals before, and as a sophomore, your strength certainly part of that team. But take us through that meet, and take us through what you expect out of yourself and the team the remainder of the season.
Conference was a huge success for us. I know we went into conference with a lot of confidence, but not too much, because I know last year we ended up just short of the conference title. So we knew this year not to go in overconfident, knowing that we still had to completely earn the title. But this year we really wanted to dominate the conference. And so I think that we went out and did that. We all ran together very well. We pack runned a lot, and I was really happy with how everyone did, and I was happy with my performance as well at conference. I was just short of being an all-conference honorable mention, but I was very happy with how I raced. And as far as moving forward in the season, our team also has very high expectations. I know I personally believe that we should come home from nationals with some hardware. We should be a trophy team, and that we have the capability of doing that. There's a lot of strong runners this year, so I'm excited to see what we do.
So history could very well repeat itself then with UWL women and perhaps men too in the nationals and in the regionals. Well, Coach, I know what I respect about you is you take time for your family too, and you're back into fitness in terms of running races. I've seen you in a few races. You're usually behind me, but not really. But I see you in some races, so you work at good balance too, don't you?
I mean, yeah, I was pretty hyped up on the job there for a couple years, and I let it go a little bit, the training aspect. So got committed on one of those whatever diets that my wife and I kind of got in on a diet, and we went after it, and then I started to feel better, and then I started running again, and it felt pretty good, and I even felt motivated enough to challenge myself to break 5 minutes in the mile as a fundraiser for the team. And I came up short there too.
Really?
But it was a bad day.
I like realistic challenges myself, but I don't think that would be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I had to challenge myself. I felt good enough to challenge myself, so it was good. And the funny thing is I walked away from that and felt like I let my team down. Because I didn't break the 5-minute barrier. And so we didn't get, the funding that we wanted for the team, and I felt like I let the team down. But yet, when I walked around the track afterwards, and people were saying, "Good job, coach," I put myself out there, they put themselves out there every race, for the team, and it felt it made me feel like what it felt like to be on a team again. From a competitive standpoint, it felt really good.
You measure success. My coach used to always say this: by effort. Commitment and effort. You may not reach that pinnacle of success, but if your effort is there, you cannot be challenged or criticized. One thing I noticed about you, about the two athletes here today from UWL, is the quality of your substance. I was just, for example, Jonah. One of my favorite ancient philosophers happens to be a guy by the name of Socrates. You ever heard of him? Mm-hmm. He had a quote that I've used many, many times, and you like that quote too?
I do.
Would you share that with us?
Sure. I believe it's the unexamined life is not worth living.
Meaning? Maybe it means something to me, but what does it mean to you?
I guess it means to me that to basically just commit yourself in whatever you're doing. I try to live that life both in running and outside of running. I guess just buying into whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's your hobbies or your career or your school. I try, and I hope that other people try to commit themselves and do whatever they need to do to be successful in whatever it is they want to do that.
Well, Plato captured a lot of what Socrates said back in the ancient times, and in his view of that was that rather than leading a mundane life with no adventure and no zeal and no energy and looking for material possessions, Socrates was always looking for truth and not to have a routine, mundane lifestyle, but to go out and explore. Is that what you're all about?
Yeah, I'd say a combination of the two, honestly. Certainly exploring, and I can relate that back to my athletic career. There's obviously a lot of challenges, injuries and stuff that I've faced in my career. But I think, exactly like you were saying, kind of breaking away from routines and wanting to stay, a lot of times in our lives, if something gets tough, we want to give up or not continue to excel at that. So I think, in general, the goal in my life is just to keep on pushing.
It's just kind of ironic because one of my favorite other philosophers happens to be a guy by the name of Gandhi, who talked about not judging others, who talked about taking action on things you can control, and he had a famous quote that I've used also, and you like that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. How does that apply to you, and how may that apply to you in the future?
Well, I think you can apply that to a lot of different aspects of life. Like, as far as our team here at UWL, you kind of have to try and lead by example and just put your best out there. Kind of like Jonah said, like, commit to the program. You've got to just, like, dedicate yourself because you've got to believe that other people will follow along and take after your example.
Good. Rapid fire drill, like 2 questions each. You ready? Philosophy of life.
Give 100% effort because it'll pay off in the end.
What would your teammates say about you as an athlete?
I think they'd say that I'm hardworking and dedicated to making the team better.
What does leadership mean to you?
Leadership means being committed and being a part of something bigger than yourself.
And Hannah, you've been a leader since you were probably in grade school. I'm quite sure of that. What does leadership mean to you, and how do you exhibit it?
I also think being that person that people are following your example by, doing the right thing when people aren't watching and when people are, and just like being there for each other, supporting everyone, not really always knowing what they're going through, but just assuming that you can be there for them and be a friend and leader for them.
I think you selected the right people to be with you on the show today. What do you think, Coach?
I think I have a pretty good nose for this stuff, man.
I think you do. My opinion of you goes up and up and up every time you bring some athletes on the show.
Yeah.
So, well, we're big UWL fans, of course. All our viewers are, and everyone here in KQEG. So we wish you the best in Winneconne and in Louisville. So we hope that you are there representing the Eagles. So thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mess them up.
All right, we'll be back with some film clips right after this.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
I can see. I don't have to wear my glasses for driving, to go to the movies, for reading.
And I think it's a wonderful thing to offer people that freedom and independence of lenses, whether they're contact lenses or glasses, to be able to function every day from the morning to the evening and not think about it.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Today the spotlight on UWL men's and women's cross-country team, nationally ranked as they head to regionals and then a national meet later this month. Well, Rick, John, and I traveled to Oshkosh on Saturday to cover the UWL Eagles. as they faced the nationally ranked Titans on a sun-splashed afternoon. The upset-minded Eagles came prepared to end their 3-game losing streak, but Oshkosh had other things on their mind. La Crosse started strong, matching the Titan scorers and only trailed 23-14 at half. But the depth of Oshkosh took over after intermission, scoring 28 points while holding the Eagles to only 2 touchdowns. Titan quarterback Brent Casper put on a show with his arm and with his legs. Chad Walton, Jacob Grant, and C.J. Blackburn were equally impressive. La Crosse did have its moments as Joel Oxton, Nick Holcomb, and Ryan Cruiser recorded touchdowns. The Eagle defense gave up 528 yards as Oshkosh rolled 51-29. Mike Schmidt's Eagles host another nationally ranked opponent, UW-Platteville, on Saturday. Rick and Reed Magnum will be there to bring you all the action. Well, next week our guest Debbie Harris as we talk about wellness and fitness and living a productive life throughout the community. Looking forward to that interview. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you have an exciting and active week ahead. So long from all of us here at 7 Rivers Sports.